Welcome to the third episode of Pushing Limits Excel Endurance Series, proudly supported by KCK Lubricants. So this episode was meant to be a bit of a workshop-orientated episode, but as it turned out, we had the opportunity to race at the Mallala Homecoming Round. So we're jumping straight into the action here, and this is the first time I'm using my brand new engine that we fitted in the previous episode. If you haven't seen that one, make sure you pause now and head back to that episode to have a look at what you missed. So we're just getting ready for the first practice session. It started off not too bad, but then unfortunately, as you'll see, that we started to develop a bit of a weird gear issue. I started to worry that this was actually the clutch itself starting to fail, but it didn't really make a lot of sense as I was going around the track. So you hear what I mean in a second. You hear just trying to grab second gear there, it just was grinding a little bit. Fortunately it got worse. Yeah, after that session, I just had no idea where to start. It's been an issue we were chasing the entire session. Even coming into this weekend, I thought the clutch felt weird. Yeah, Dad and I had tried everything we could think of. And the concern that I then began to start to have as well was that once we figured out what the actual problem was, what damage had been done.
Try and see it from a trick. Slide a big box down to 4 or 5.
But thankfully, we ended up actually finding the issue. It ended up being the clutch slave cylinder itself has failed. So, chucked a new slave cylinder in. Thank you very much to Nick Skate, who had a spare slave cylinder that he lent us, which was a super big help. So we're going to jump straight into quali, which as you can see was wet. Initially got a good jump off the line. Had the opportunity to go 3 wide into turn 1, but at Mallala 3 wide into turn 1 is never a smart idea, let alone in the rain. So I decided to back out of it and live another day. So as we're getting on after the first lap of this race, I start trying to focus and just getting into a rhythm. Again, from previous videos you may have seen, I'm not the most confident racing in the wet yet. I'm definitely feeling like I'm getting a lot better, and it's a lot easier to get a bit more confidence in the wet in an Excel compared to previously in my Formula Ford. So realistically, this weekend being treated as a testing weekend, but still obviously going to start racing a couple of people if the opportunity presents itself. But yeah, it just ends up with me just driving, figuring out where the grip is, where my strengths are compared to some of the other drivers. There's only 5 or 6 of us in the group this weekend. There's a really small field for XLs. Why more people didn't come out, we got a really good deal on the entry fee for this weekend. But the week before the Enduro, there is a part that does understand it, why more people didn't want to come out and risk their cars. But at the end of the day, a $200 entry fee for a full national level event that was streamed on KO, and a big event with big categories like the TA2 series, why more people didn't rock up, no idea. So start moving forward again, still having a good race with this silver and blue car. This race ended up being actually quite good. For a time being, I was actually running P3, which was really exciting. I started having some good racing with some of the other guys. But naturally, wet clubhouse at Mallala, as always in the wet, it bites hard, and there's a couple of people fell off the road there. I threw away my first Formula Ford win at that turn in the wet. If the track gets wet, that's the first corner that'll catch people out, 9 times out of 10. Here we got Nick Scaife stuck on the curb here as well. Obviously had a bit of an incident turn 1, so I get past him there as well. Around about now is when I start to realise I'm in the podium position. Huge moment. There's a massive slide through the last turn. I was adamant I was going off and into the wall that time, but somehow I caught it. I was obviously pretty pleased myself. Had quite a few people coming up to me and saying good job, good catch on that one. So again, clubhouse again, Elliot goes for a bit of a dive. He runs wide, I'll follow Nick through. That's Elliot's actually new car as well. He rolled his car in round 6 and he's been trying to put a new car together. That new car that he bought off the Jet is an absolute rocket ship. So now we're just trying to get back ahead of Nick. I've not really driven against him before, so I always get a bit wary driving against other people I don't know. I just don't know how much I can trust them, but Nick was great, real fair competitor, really quick, so the fact that I held on with him for that long was quite a surprise as well. Here we are, across the line. I was really happy with that race. Not as busy a track as I'm used to, but it was a result I really needed and made me feel a bit more fun about Excels again, which I really needed. I don't know what it is about those THE cars, but hearing them go around a track at Mallala was amazing. Here we are, jumping into another race. Starting P4 by the looks of it. Another not too bad start. Track started dry, but during this race it actually started raining. So just trying to manage the changing the track, it was a challenge, but it was a really fun challenge. It was frustrating at the time. I didn't expect the track to go off as much and as quickly as it did. And it would kind of go away, and then it would come back, and then it would go away, and then it would come back to you again. So it was a real challenge. Got Elliot going for a bit of a move here. Elliot was really hustling me this race. Goes for a dive here. Tried to get the over and under on him, but he's just got too much of a run. Really struggled with turn 2 this weekend. Just could not get the nose of the car back in. But here's when Elliot gets over too much curve, bit of a bounce on. Found it very amusing at the time, obviously. Clearly you can tell how much I'm concentrating. front of the car and you're back in southern. So I was feeling pretty good after that race. Had a good hard race for a lot of it. With Elliot, it was keeping me honest, but I'm pretty sure he finished ahead of me. So we're going to jump forward to the final race of the weekend. Got an absolute horrible start. All the wheels spin and just got left for dead by everyone. So I was pushing really hard to catch up and get back into the pack. This race doesn't end up going too well, but it is what it is. The risky run, running your car the week before a main event. So something interesting happens here in Northern. A very rare mistake made by Excel Jesus Asher Johnson. Runs a bit wide into Northern. See him rejoining here. It's a bit of a surprise to see him make a mistake. Just not sure how much to trust the grip that's there. I wasn't sure if the track was a bit damp in places or if the track was just super green, to be honest. Too wide through turn 1 at Mallala's. Always gets the heart rate up. Yeah, not ideal. Basically what happened is for the whole weekend, I was just trying to lean on the rear tyre a little bit, just to get the rotation through the corner, and I just overcorrected, checked up, and then Alan just clipped me. Thankfully, not too much damage. It's a great weekend, really fun weekend, to be honest. It wasn't, obviously not the biggest Excel grid, but still had a blast. There's some really good, genuine people on track, which is a really nice change. After the weekend, I actually found out that I was only a handful of points from getting a round podium, which would have been amazing to walk away from my first Excel weekend with a trophy. Granted, it would have been a small group, but you take them where you can get them. Now, do the final prep to get ready for the Excel Enduro at the Bend next weekend. Okay, for a quick one, I'm going to quickly try and get a drink system set up for the upcoming Enduro. It's a really last minute kind of job, but I saw something online that made me think I can get something simple, relatively inexpensive, thrown together. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So first I got just this 2 litre insulated bottle from Kmart, and then got a couple of meters of this, I think it's 6mm food grade rubber tube. Just got that from Clark Rubber. It's like $2 a meter, so not too expensive. And then you want one of these. So this is a one-way check valve. So this is a Aqua One product, so you get it from your pet stores, Pet Barn, Pet Stock, any generic aquarium shop. But Pet Barn, I got this from Pet Barn. Yeah, it's like $1, $2. So you put that, stops the water draining from all the way back over from the tube back down to the bottle. So I'll try and film what I can. It's going to be a bit fiddly, but I'll let you know what I can going to be a bit fiddly, but I'll show you what you can, and hopefully we can get this fairly simple drink system thrown together. So you need two holes, one for the tube to come in through the lid, and then you need air to be able to get back into the bottle. So I was gonna try and there was a rubber seal that came factory with it. I've taken that out, so I'm thinking that can be my air inlet, and then I'll just drill a hole into there that this hose will fit in. With that hole drilled, just I wanted a kind of nice fit, so it's got some decent tension on it, but I can still kind of remove it if need be. So I'll pull it through and kind of want a decent amount in the bottle, so it kind of, look, doesn't have to be perfect with how much it gets off the bottom, but I want it to be able to use a decent amount of the capacity. I can just pull a bit more through. Yeah, I reckon that's good. Easy. And look, if I'm concerned about it pulling through, I can just put like a little cable tie around in here, and that'll stop it pulling all the way out. And it's not a permanent fix, which I might do that just so it doesn't get pulled out the end of the bottle. Next, I reckon I'll get that cable tie on, and then I'll mount up the bottle into the car, into the roll cage, and then it's just going to be a factor of just running the hose up along the roll cage up onto the seat belt. We'll get to that now. Alright, so mounted it up. This is our roll cage. I'm going to try and pick up some metal hose clamps, just because like that's stable enough, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd feel better if I had some metal hose clamps on that, just as a more secure option. Look, they obviously do kits for these, but like it's like $200 just for the bracket. So this is more of just proof of concept, and I'll try and get at least two big metal hose clamps on that, so that might be a bit solid. So now we'll get the lid back on, and then the plan is to run the hose from there up onto here, onto this crossbar, and then onto the left driver strap onto this Velcro bit there. So here's the main idea. So you got the lid on, hose comes down up onto the roll cage, follows it up, and then it'll go over to the seat belt and onto the driver's side. So just trying to get these cable ties so they're tight but they're not crushing the tube, because you don't want to make, since this isn't a powered drink bottle, you want to kind of make it easy to drink out of it as possible. So we'll get that shit out of the driver's seat, and then we'll try and finish it up on that end. Alright, so quick one. We've got it coming up over the shoulder here, through this Velcro strap that's already part of the seat belt that was already stitched in, then through to that one-way valve. I think this might be a little bit too small, so I might have to try and get a slightly bigger one just to fill it out a little bit so it's a little bit more secure. It's just trying to get the length right now. It's a bit hard to do, which might be more of a, we'll refine of the truck. I've still got heaps of hose left over. And then that comes down here. So the idea is that you're driving, and I need a drink. You can flip it up, kind of drive with it already kind of in, and then just off to the side of your helmet near your mouth, and then if you want it, it's already kind of there. So we'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work well, we'll keep it If it does work well, we'll definitely use it. If it doesn't, I reckon we'll probably still keep it in there just in case, because it might not be good enough to use it during your actual driving in the moment, but maybe during a safety car, you got a little bit more time for your thoughts. You're not as busy during the safety car potentially. It's there, just there. Like my co-driver Alec initially wasn't too fussed about having it set up, but I get hot really easily. So normally our races are about 15-20 minutes long, and it's looking like our stints are going to be half an hour, 45 minutes. So it's going to be a big slog. So yeah, hopefully that works for now. I also have like a bite down camel pack fitting for it. I'm gonna bring one just in case I need it. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it, but again, I would rather have it and not use it. So yeah, I reckon that's all good. I'm pretty happy with that. Just trying to get a hold of some of the bigger metal hose clamps for that bottle. Because yeah, you want 2 litres of water. That's about 2 kilos of weight plus the bottle. If you have an accident, you don't exactly want that flying around the cabin of the car. So that's the main concern at the moment, that we'll get a bit more of a solid mount on that. Like, that's solid as it is. I had a good shake with it and it was fine, but I'd rather have it over-engineered than under-engineered and be an issue. So it's one job off the list.
Yeah.